For over 1,000 years, one city stood as the heart of an empire, a fortress of civilization that literally watched other empires rise and then just crumble into dust. This wasn't just any city. It was a marvel of engineering, a meticulously designed machine built for one purpose: survival. So let's unfold its secrets, shall we?
I mean, really think about that. How did Constantinople manage to outlast the entire Western Roman Empire by a millennium? It wasn't luck, and it wasn't magic. It was a brilliant, multi-layered design. Today we're going to unfold it piece by piece, just like a complex paper model, to reveal the absolute genius at its core.
All right, Chapter 1. Every great structure has to start with a solid base, right? Well, for Constantinople, that foundation was its location. This was the first, and you could argue the most important, decision that sealed its incredible destiny. Let's unfold this map and see exactly why.
You see, Emperor Constantine didn't just throw a dart at a map. He ran a full-blown geopolitical analysis. Old Rome, sure, it was symbolic, but it was way too far from the real action on the Persian and Danube frontiers. Nicomedia was closer, but it was wide open to attack. Serdica, his personal favorite for a while, was totally landlocked. But then there was Byzantium. It wasn't the easiest choice, but it was the calculated perfect one.
And this is exactly why it was the winning hand. Geographically, the site was a natural fortress, a triangular peninsula with deep water on two sides. It commanded the Bosphorus Strait, the only waterway connecting the Black Sea and the Mediterranean, giving it a chokehold on global trade. It had the Golden Horn, a perfect deep-water harbor. And, the cherry on top, it was built on 7 hills, a direct symbolic echo of old Rome. It literally had everything.
Okay, so you've got this perfect natural foundation. What's the next layer in our model? You build armor on top of it. You take those God-given advantages and you amplify them with some of the most brilliant military engineering the world has ever seen.
And this was the result, the Theodosian Walls. But this wasn't just one wall. It was a defense-in-depth system, an absolute nightmare for any attacker. First, you had to cross a 20-meter-wide moat, a death trap for siege towers. Survive that? Now you face the 8-meter outer wall. If you somehow breach that, you're now trapped in the Parabolus, an open kill zone, while archers are firing at you from the massive 12-meter inner wall with its nearly 100 towers. Good luck.
And here is the aha moment. The total width of this whole defensive system was 70 meters. That is almost the length of an American football field. And the genius didn't stop there. The towers were built to settle independently from the walls, a design that made them incredibly resistant to earthquakes, one of the region's biggest threats. This wasn't just a wall, it was truly an unbreakable shell.
So, we've built the outer defenses, but a city is a living thing, right? It breathes. It needs to eat and drink. The next layer we have to unfold is the hidden plumbing, the life support systems that kept 500,000 people alive inside that shell even during a year-long siege.
Just let that number sink in for a moment. 500,000 people. In the 5th century, that was a true megalopolis. Supporting a population of that size presented an almost unbelievable logistical challenge. And that was the crucial problem they had to solve, because for all its perfection, the city had one major flaw: no significant source of fresh water. So, how do you solve that? Well, the answer required engineering on a scale that is honestly difficult to wrap your head around even today.
To really understand just how advanced their solution was, just look at this comparison. Centuries later, while a major city like London was still getting its water from polluted rivers and using open sewers, 5th century Constantinople had pressurized water, public baths, and functioning sewer systems. They were basically living in the future.
The sheer scale of their hydraulic network, this is what's truly mind-boggling. The water supply system for Constantinople stretched an incredible 592 kilometers. That's the longest of the entire ancient world. This massive network of channels and aqueducts fed gigantic underground cisterns, like the famous Basilica cistern, which could store enough water to outlast almost any siege.
So, water was one half of the equation. The other, of course, was food. The city's lifeblood was the Annona Civica, this massive state-run operation that shipped grain all the way from Egypt. This wasn't just about feeding people. It kept food prices stable and ensured social order. It was a logistical masterpiece that tied the entire empire to its capital.
So, we have the foundation, we have the armor, and we have the life support systems. Now let's unfold that final shimmering layer of our model, the city's purpose.
All of this incredible engineering existed to power a global engine of commerce, culture, and civilization itself. Because of its perfect location, Constantinople became the great marketplace of the world, the western end of the legendary Silk Road. But the Byzantines had a problem. They were at the mercy of their rivals, the Persians, who controlled the lucrative silk trade. So, in the 6th century, they pulled off one of history's greatest acts of industrial espionage. They sent 2 monks who smuggled silkworm larvae out of China and hollowed out bamboo canes. This allowed the empire to create its own silk industry and break the Persian monopoly for good. Incredible! And ultimately, that's what it all comes down to. The city's immense strength didn't come from just one thing. It was a completely interconnected system. The geography made it defensible, the defenses protected its people, and the people were sustained by logistics that powered a global economy. Every single piece was designed to work together in perfect harmony.
And this is perhaps its most important legacy. For 1,000 years, Constantinople acted as the shield of Europe. It was a geopolitical buffer that just absorbed invasion after invasion from the east, time and time again. By standing strong, it preserved the priceless knowledge of ancient Greece and Rome, giving the civilizations of Western Europe the time and security they needed to grow.
So what's the key takeaway from all this? Constantinople's incredible 1,123-year reign as an imperial capital was no accident. It wasn't a fluke, it was the direct result of deliberate, systematic, and absolutely brilliant design that integrated geography, engineering, and logistics into an almost immortal city.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What principles can we learn from this ancient masterpiece to build our own resilient cities for the future? Thank you so much for spending your time learning with us today. If you found this insightful, please like, comment with what surprised you most, and subscribe to Info Now for more deep dives into our world's history.